Hello and welcome back to RC Icons. So in this video, we're camping. We are away for 5 days, hanging out up north, kind of off-grid. Not a whole lot of cell service, which is great because we can really just kind of delve into each other and hang out as a family. So we brought a bunch of crawler stuff. Got the RC room kind of set up. This is the back of my camper. It's a toy hauler, so it's like a garage. But I did bring a couple of things to kind of play with on some downtime, and one of them being Sand Viper DTO2 kit. So I've had this kit for years, probably, I think it's been 3 years anyways. So originally I had bought this to do a DTO2 MS, and I was just going to buy all the blue parts to turn it into an MS version because MSs can be very difficult to find, and I wanted to build an MS. Fast forward a couple years, I ended up tracking down an MS kit, so I actually have that kit still in the studio to build. We did the DFO3 MS, but we still have the DTO2 and the TTO2B MS to build. So this is kind of a standalone kit that's just kind of extra hanging around the house. I have a DFO3 as well. Same reason, you know, I was going to build the MS just with a standard dark impact kit, but was able to finally track down the DFO3 MS kit, and that was built last year, and that build is on the channel. So I love the look of the Sand Viper. I love the decals, the way it looks. I think Tamiya knocked it out of the park, not only in an aesthetic sense, but also as an affordable two-wheel drive sense. I think the DTO2 platform is awesome, which is probably why Tamiya just decided to do that gearbox on the Hornet Evo. It's a durable gearbox to them, so for them to be able to graft that onto the Evo is just awesome. So yeah, let's crack this kit open. We'll take a look at what you get, and then we'll get started building. So you're gonna hear in this video noise, background noise, family noise, right? People coming in and out of the camper, people walking in not knowing that I'm filming. It's fine, it's all good. It's as raw as it gets here. And at some point in a second here, I'll kind of pan over the crawlers, just kind of give you guys a sense of what we brought to play with. I actually just pooch punted and burnt up the ESC on the Killer Crawler 2, trying to solder some wires back together. Couldn't see the best. Ended up soldering a positive to a negative lead and a negative to a positive lead on the receiver itself, and white smoked it. So the one truck Caleb wanted to run the most, I burnt up before we even ran it. So getting into the kit, wheels and tires. Obviously there's a million of these videos on YouTube already, but it looks like a square spike in the rear with a ribbed front. Silver dish wheels. Looks like a TBL E. It's probably an 02. No, it is an 04. So I bought this at least when the 04 had come out. Sand Viper body. Shock parts, uprights, and hexes. So I'm assuming those are rear uprights. You get your gears, your chassis, decal set, and then the bottom of the box has the rest of your hardware and plastics. Box says fully ball raced. I guess we'll find out if it is really fully ball raced, because they'll say that, and then obviously you get into the build and steering isn't ball raced, you know, 3 or 4 other things aren't ball raced. So I'm going to flip you around real quick just to kind of show you the rigs that we brought, and then I'm going to get started on the build, and I'll just kind of bring you back here and there. But I figured, what the hell, it's a camping video, let's turn the camera on and at least document the build. Battery's done. So you can see there's the Killer Crawler 2. If you guys haven't seen this on my channel, it's dual cantilever suspension. So there's a shock back here and a shock here. It's got like 12 inches of articulation, 1/4 scale crawler. Dual motor, locking diffs, dual steering servo, front and rear. So yeah, just a insane piece of engineering. So Caleb really wanted to get that one out. I want to rebuild it and get it on a pistol grip because it runs off a 10-channel radio link. Only because that's how they kind of told you to build it at the time. So I just kind of followed their lead, RC 4-wheel drive. And I set it up on that radio, and I don't run this because I hate running that dual stick. I don't mind dual stick, but trying to run something on a 10-channel dual stick without a self-centering stick on one side can be a real drag. So we're going to get this rebuilt. I need to buy another RX-8, Tiken RX-8. That's the speed controller I use on it. And I just fried it. So I need to order another one, get it built back up for Caleb. And at the same time, I'm going to get it set up on a pistol grip. My Noble NB4 is capable of 8-channel. And I really only need like 4 channels, so it's not, or 5 channels. So it should be plenty of radio to run that truck. And then we've got my Axial SCX-10 I bought that when the 3 first came out, so that was a kit build. Now they do ready to runs, but when the first kit build came out, that's the only body you could get was the Jeep. And I got it literally as it was being delivered to the hobby shop. Built that truck up, and that thing just goes absolutely anywhere. Dig function, 4-wheel, 2-wheel drive, high speed, low speed, the whole 9 yards. I don't think it has locking diffs, but it is portal axle. And we got Caleb's TRX-6. That thing's locking diffs front and rear, 2-wheel drive, 2-wheel, 4-wheel drive, I think, or maybe not. High and low speed though, 2-speed, and locking diffs. That thing goes just about anywhere. And then this one, which is completely covered in dirt still from the last run, that's kind of how we treat our crawlers. It is what it is. That's what they're meant for. This is an 8th scale traction hobby. I think it's the Founder 2. All metal, portal axle, high, low speed, 2 4-wheel drive, locking diffs, the whole 9 yards. This truck is absolutely awesome. In an 8th scale, I mean, you can see it's as big as the 6x6, and it's supposed to be a 4-door Jeep. So yeah, that thing just kills it. And if you're not familiar with Traction Hobby, all they do is 8th scale stuff. And I believe the only place you can get them is Asia Tees online. So yeah, those are essentially the 4 crawlers that we brought. And then we also brought under the table is Caleb's 8x8. So that's the what is it? Trap Speed. HG 802, I think. The 801, I think, has the dump bed on it, and the 802 is more of like a semi truck. It's got the hitch on it, and then that's the corresponding trailer. All metal, 8-wheel drive. I believe the 2 front wheels steer. And that thing will climb a mountain. It'll just go anywhere. High speed, low speed, so 2-speed. Yeah, it's absolutely insane. And then I know the lighting sucks in here, and it's under the table, but it's like a real transmission, right? So the motor is buried in there, and then it's a real transmission coming back to a drop axle that sends the power both front and back. Let's see if I can get it down here. I've never done a video on this one, but they are awesome. I'm trying to remember who's doing an HG build right now. Somebody is. But that's all metal. Thing's heavy. There's that drop axle. And then there's actually an Axial plastic drive shaft on it because he snapped one, but I've got the replacement one here somewhere. I've got the replacement to fix it. So that's it there. So yeah, that thing's just insane. Lights, sound, the whole 9 yards. So it's just super cool. So you'll see some crawling videos coming up. We're gonna put them on a different day than our regular channel stuff. But at the very least, you guys will get to see these things run. So keep an eye out. Subscribe if you haven't, so that you guys don't miss it. See you in a second with something built. Alright, steps 1 through 4 are done, which is essentially building up the front end. So on a DTO2, if you guys have never built one before, the front shock tower and bulkhead are all one piece. It's all one chunk of plastic. So basically, step 1 was putting the front arms with the shitty Tamiya hinge pin screws. So the front arms go on, and then you put together your steering uprights and C-hubs, and then you make 2 rods, connect them, and bolt your bumper up. So short of shocks, the front end is complete. Step 5, we're going to start putting the gear diff together and getting the rear end put together. So diff, counter gear, gearbox, motor. Obviously this being a 2-wheel drive and an entry-level 2-wheel drive will go together fairly quickly. So I'll bring you back here at some point. So you can kind of see the progress. It's kind of cool to... I'm glad I didn't build this kit before, because now building it now gives me an idea of what the Hornet Evo, or the Evo Hornet, is going to be like. I probably will end up picking one up. I know David wants to build one, so it'll probably be a build that he does, not me. So yeah, let me get the diff put together here and fiddle with the rear end a little bit, and I'll bring you back shortly. Steps 5 through 9. Rear gearboxes together. You can only use 2 pinions, 17 and 19. Standard, without modifying the gearbox. Pretty basic. Went together nice and easy. Next step, getting lower and upper arms on, and then rear uprights, finishing the rear gearbox from here. And then it all is going to mount to the chassis. So the rear end's together now. Nice and loose. Pretty simple, standard stuff. DTO2 is fully adjustable with adjustable uprights or turnbuckles. Shocks are built front and rear. They feel good. Next step is getting the shocks mounted front and rear, and then we're going to start putting the chassis together. Figured I would bring you back. Car's coming together quick. So after putting the shocks together, it has you mount them on the front and rear ends. The rear end, you had to get the shock tower mounted as well. Pretty beefy shock tower for being plastic. Looks good. I like the fact that this car is all adjustable. Really is great budget friendly 2-wheel drive. Front end is on the chassis at this point. Battery tray is in, right? And then there's so many upgrades for the DTO2 platform now, with carbon chassis available and all the aftermarket companies. It was a good enough platform for Tamiya to do the MS version, which is basically the race version of this car. And I'm excited to get it on the track and see what it can do in its standard form. From everything I've seen on YouTube, it does great, so should be pretty cool. Next step here is going to be getting the rear end onto the car. Right, it's all compartmental where you can literally take the rear end off and service it, take the front end off and service it, but we're going to have a chassis here pretty quick. It's starting to look like a buggy. I'll see you back here with essentially a finished chassis. So that's the chassis done. It really is a nice 2-wheel drive. I mean, it's got all the, still has to have the switch put in, but it's got all the shapes and functions of like your older 2-wheel drive cars. I mean, almost like a 201, although 201 is designed differently for strength and speed, but for budget 2-wheel drive, the DTO2 will not disappoint. So for the sake of this video, I'm going to keep moving forward and get the body cut out and mounted. I want to try to get all the hardware on the car just because it's easier for me when I get home, not having a bag of hardware and still having to do stuff. It'll just be take the body off, paint it, set the decals, and the car is done, short of electrics. So I will bring you back here with a clear body mounted, and that'll wrap it up. So we have a finished car, short of paint and decals. Came out great. Not bad for a camper build. Definitely a body that needs Velcro on the sides, but once the Velcro is in place, that body's not letting any kind of dirt or anything in. It fits perfect to the chassis. So great design, great build, easy build, nothing complicated really at all. Great first build for someone. So that's going to do it. Next time you see this car, we'll have it painted up and decaled, and we'll be getting it out on the track for its maiden. So I hope you guys enjoyed the camper build. I enjoyed it. It was nice to kind of sit back here and just kind of put this thing together. Not a whole lot of thought involved, which is nice. So I'm going to clean up my mess, and we'll see you in the next one. If you're not already a subscriber, I'd ask you to consider subscribing to support the channel. Leave a comment. Let me know what your thoughts are on the DTO2, if you have one. Is there anything I should know? How does it run? I'm assuming it runs great, to be honest. It definitely looks the part, and I assume it does what it's supposed to do. So yeah, let me know in the comments what you think, and thumbs up, thumbs down. Until next time, we'll see you soon. Thanks.